Hello, I'm John with Roadkill Incorporated, and today I'm doing a pickup. Should be a good one. Supposedly there's some pretty nice vintage laptops, some old stuff. This is what I'm taking in to scrap. I'm giving this to the recycler in return for scrap value. On the surface, a lot of this looks kind of nice, but really it's 2008, 2009, all smashed screens, that sort of thing, mangled cases. So since the screens are the bottleneck with those years, there's really not much that can be done with this. There may be some good boards here, but the thing is, I could list the 2009 board on eBay, and maybe I'd sell one for $12 every month. So it's really not viable material, and so it gets scrapped. So anyway, I'll go do the pickup and we'll see what we have. All right, so I'm back, and it was an uneventful trip, fortunately. And I just wanted to show you, this is the receipt from the recycler. What recyclers do is they literally give you a check. They weigh up what you give them, the scrap that you give them, and then they give you a check based on the weight. So you can see 455 pounds. They paid me 80 cents a pound, so $364 for all of that scrap that you saw. I'm guessing they probably get somewhere between 3 to 4 times more money for that at the end of the day. But, you know, they do the hard work. They tear it all apart and sell it off to specialists. So they deserve it. But yeah, it's definitely worth taking your stuff to recyclers. You get a reasonable amount of money considering it's junk, and the stuff is responsibly recycled. So it's all in all a good thing. And yeah, I'll get this unpacked and we'll see what we have. And of course, I'm struck by this really nice clamshell that has been written on in permanent marker, and I'm going to have to block that because I don't want to identify where these came from. But yeah, it's really sad when that happens. People write on computers and they don't realize they're branding it for life and making it unsellable. But what are you going to do? Okay, so I got everything unloaded, and it was a nice little small lot. I appreciate the small lots because they don't completely destroy me physically like unloading a 15-foot truck by myself does. So yeah, this was a nice one. So I'll just go over everything. 13-inch pros. This is an advertisement for why proprietary screwdrivers are not a good idea. Someone, obviously just ripped the battery out instead of unscrewing it. Although, actually, probably the barbarian who did this probably wouldn't care if they were Phillips screws anyway, so it's probably not really relevant. But yeah, 13-inch pros, 15-inch pros, 15-inch aluminums, a couple original airs, 12-inch, 15-inch PowerBook. There's that clamshell. 3 or 4 really nice Pismos that I'm excited about. It's rare that you see them that aren't totally cracked up and require a lot of work and missing parts. 12-inch iBooks, not too excited about at this point. Bad optical, that one will probably get scrapped. This one, on the other hand, will probably get fixed at some point. I think it's a PowerBook 100. You can see the video cable and I think the inverter cable. You can see that someone let out some anger on that guy. Yeah, nice looking 160 there. Canadian keyboard, I think. Have to fix that space bar. White unibody, more iBooks, and some 17s. And here's the fun stuff. We have a few PC laptops, and they're in remarkably good shape. Yeah, look at this gateway. Really nice. I mean, fully intact, Pentium 2. This one, Compact Armada, I dealt with these in the corporate world, so I'm not too excited about this one. It's funny, when laptops and computers that I dealt with in the corporate world, I just think of as, completely unexciting. But if it's something like this that I've never seen, then I'm excited. Same with this guy. This is an HP Pavilion, I think. I don't know. 3 buttons there. Intel Centrino. I barely remember what that is. But yeah, anyway, nice PC laptops to play around with. And these guys, actually I got these on the previous pickup. I didn't do a video on that pickup for some reason. These are Samsung tablets, Galaxy Tab 2 tablets. Got like 500 of them. I sold most of them already. But they're just these beautiful tablets. Unfortunately, they have very sensitive screens, and most of them are cracked. And the cracks are very subtle. You can barely pick them up. But most of them have screen protectors too. I think they're OLED screens. But yeah, unfortunately, most of these were not working. And you can see these guys here are all pretty much bent. It's really sad. They're just not as structurally tough as iPads. But yeah, interesting to deal with. A lot of people seem to like them for parts. I've been selling them for a pretty good price. Here are a couple. I don't know what the model, whoa, that's not smart. I don't know what the model of that is, but yeah, and the thing with Android tablets is that these are actually completely wiped. Like an iPad, it's always got something on it. Even if there is no OS, you can turn it on and you get, please connect to iTunes or whatever. But the Android tablets, it's like they F-disk them or something, because there's literally nothing there. They don't power on to a screen because they're wiped. You literally have to connect them to a PC apparently and have the tool to inject the OS to it. So that was something I learned. That these are completely wiped, and they're just non-functional unless you know what you're doing. So yeah, those have been a learning experience. Yeah, so here are the iPods. Still have most of them. It's amazing how much people want the iPods. I've had like dozens and dozens of requests for the iPods. And what's frustrating is people want the best ones, They don't want just a typical iPod. They want the rare one, the rare color that is worth, 5 times more or something like that. So I think what I'm going to do, rather than deal with them at all, is just put them in a box and, take out that box in 10 years and see what it's worth. Because the thing with retro is the value is only going up. That's the great thing about it. It's only going up. It's like an investment, a stock that is going up. Why would you sell an investment that's doing well and that's only going to do better in the future? And not only that, but it's a stock that has a limited number of shares. You could think of an iPod as a share of a stock, and those shares are disappearing. So it's a disappearing stock. You have 100 of them, say, and it's only going up in value because the number of shares of that stock in the world are going down. So retro is really an investment, if you think of it that way. I mean, assuming it does continue to go up in value. Maybe all the old guys who are nostalgic will die off, and then the old stuff won't be of interest anymore, and then it'll tank. But I don't think so. I think retro is here to stay. I really think retro is the future. And finally, right after I told you I'm going to keep all my retro forever, I just wanted to show you my collection of iBooks and PowerBooks. And the reason I'm mentioning these guys is that I'm moving soon. And so I'm thinking of thinning out my collection of these. I obviously have 2 or 3 of each model, and I don't necessarily need all of these. So probably not the 12-inch PowerBooks or the titaniums. Those guys I want to keep. But the 12-inch iBooks, 14-inch iBooks, 17 and 15-inch PowerBooks, those guys I could let go. So I know I'm going to get myself in trouble putting this out there, because as it is, I get a million people asking for stuff. But if you're interested in those that I just mentioned, let me know. I could sell them, say, for $100 per 10, plus 50 shipping, that kind of arrangement. In the US, only because, shipping outside the country would cost $300 for that size box. But yeah, if you're interested, let me know. They would be as is, but they're, fairly good condition. I've only kept the ones that are reasonably nice. And it would be a good sort of repair lot. I would be getting rid of the ones that have imperfections, but if you took 10 12-inch iBook G4s, for example, you could easily make 5, 6 out of what I sent you. I would include probably a couple, 2, 3, 4 batteries per lot because there aren't enough batteries for these to go around, and no chargers. I don't have anywhere near enough chargers to match up to all these guys. So yeah, collecting retro as an investment, it's really a concept that's got the gears in my brain turning quite a bit these days. And not just concerning money. I mean, I think you can probably make a fair amount of money doing it. It's probably not the best way to make money. But what has me excited is like I said, that time capsule idea. Like if you can preserve thousands of machines in a safe space for a decade or 2 decades, you're preserving these machines so that even a new generation of people can see them, can use them. A generation of people who weren't even necessarily alive when these machines came out. And I think the historical significance of the computers will be that much greater to them than it will to us who are just, reliving our childhoods or whatever. So, yeah, that has me excited. And I really think the future is retro, because computers are not computers anymore. Computers are just these transparent things that bridge us into the internet. They don't seem to have much identity themselves these days. And so computers that were really computers back when in the day, I think that's going to be where it's at. And I think there's always going to be sort of a hunger for the aesthetic of the really, really old stuff. This isn't really old, but I think it's old enough that it still has some characteristics of that. So anyway, something to think about. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.